Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, this is Reggie School of Fashion. In one of my previous videos, I showed you guys how to draft a male Sutana bodice, which is also known as brother Sutana. In case you are yet to watch that video, I have the tutorial linked up in the description box already. Going forward, I'll be showing you how to draft the back yoke of brother Sutana, the collar, which is known as bishop collar, the side extension, which serve as his on the Sutana, and also the sleeve part of the Sutana. Do good by subscribing to my channel for regular notifications, and also remember to subscribe to my second channel, Kidswear with Reggie. Kidswear with Reggie is my new channel which is dedicated to every aspect of fashion designing that has to do with kidswear for both male and female. Kindly find the link to my new channel in the description box below this video. Without further delay, let's go straight into today's video. Here is the fabric I will be cutting out in making a brother Sutana. So as you can see, it is a white and it is Sutana material. So these are the patterns we cut out in the previous video, the front and the back panel. Okay, so this is what I'll be using in constructing the remaining parts of the drafting in today's tutorial. So the first step is to draft the side extension. The side extension is attached to the side of Sutana in order to give it room for free movement and also to make it free on the wearer. In drafting the extension, I will be taking the measurements I have on my front panel from the chest level downward to the hemline. I'm taking the measurement from the chest level because I want the extension to get to the armhole point. If you don't want it to get to the armhole point, you can start from the waist level. So, but if you are attaching your extension from the waist level, make sure you added some ease around the waist level. When I was drafting this pattern in the previous video, I did not add any ease to the waist and to the hip, purposely because I will be attaching the extension from the chest level. Here is the pattern I will be using in drafting the extension. The measurement I have from the chest to the hemline, which I took on my pattern, is 52 inches. Then I inserted the waist level, the hip level as well. So you can see the waistline, the hip line, because the side is not on a straight line. So the next step is to insert the extension measurement. The standard measurement for extension is 10 inches for all male figure. And this measurement has to be taken on the hemline. And because I'm using this side as the center, so this is the extension center. So I will be inserting half of 10 inches, which is 5. So on this point from the center, I'm taking 5 inches forward and I'm adding 1 inch as seam allowance. Then on the chest level, which is the exact point where the extension is stopping, I will be using 1 inch. So I'll be adding 1 inch. So that is 2 inches in total. 1 inch, and I will add extra 1 inch as seam allowance. So that is 2 inches. So this point is not in use. So from this center to this point is 2 inches. Then I'll be connecting this point straight down to the hemline. So after connecting from the hemline to the hip level, then I'll be connecting from the hip level to the waistline using the side of my pattern. because the sides has to be equal. And I will position the pattern in such a way the head will fall on the measurement I have on the chest line. So this is the measurement point on the chest line, and I'm placing the edge of my pattern, my front pattern, to fall on that point, like so. Then I can construct the shape I have there. Now I'm tracing out the shape I have from waist to the chest level. Then I can blend it up with my variform curve. So with this, I've achieved the shape I have on the side of my pattern. Okay, so the pattern is ready. My seam allowance is included. So the only side I will be adding my seam allowance is the chest level, which I will be adding 1/2 inch. Because by the time I had seam allowance on the fabric, the 1/2 inch will be included. So I have to add it to the extension pattern. So that is why I'm taking this up by 1/2 inch. So the pattern is ready and I can cut it out. This is the center. It has to be on fold while cutting, and I'll be cutting out 2 pieces. So this is the center, extension center. Unfold, cut 2. So this is going together with the side of the bodice like so. So when we get to the point of construction, you will get to understand better. So we are done with the drafting of the side extension. Then I'll go to the next step, which is drafting of the collar. Now I'll be drafting the collar part of the sutana. And in drafting the collar part of the sutana, I need the neck measurement and the back measurement. This is the measurement I have on the bodies of the pattern, which is 3.75 for the back and 3.75 for the front. So this is the center of the pattern, and this is the neckline. This is the center, and the measurement I took on the pattern also is half of the measurement. So from the center back, I will be inserting the back neck measurement, the back first, which is 3.75. This is the point. Then from this point, which is the back neck measurement point, I will insert the front neck measurement as well, which is 3.75. Okay, then I will take this up with a straight line. I'm taking it up straight. So it's going up by 1/2 inch. Okay, so from this point to this point is 1/2 inch. This 1/2 inch is to shape the neckline. You can see what I have here is a straight line, and our neck is not on a straight line. So in order to achieve, excuse me, and our neck is not on a straight line. So in order to achieve a curvy effect around here, that was why I came up by 1/2 inch on this point. Then I'll be constructing the neckline like so, using my curve ruler. This 1/2 inch point to meet the straight line. It is not something serious. I'm just positioning it in such a way this point meets the straight line I have already. Okay, so these from here downwards are no more in use. All these are no more. So this is the line for the neckline. Now you can see it goes upward. So the next step is to insert the collar height. So for the collar height, I will be using 2.5 inches. So from this half of an inch point, I will take the measurement upward. And I will follow the shape, which is the curve line I drew earlier. I will follow the shape in order to measure out the height of the collar. So I'm taking 2.5 inches all through to the center, and I will blend it up with my ruler. Okay, then I will take this up with a straight ruler. Okay, so can you see what I have? So with these 2.5 inches, I already added my seam allowance on the upper part and on the lower part. So which means after constructing the collar, I will be left with 1.5 inches. So the 2.5 inches I measured is for the collar height and the seam allowance on the upper part and on the lower part. So the next step is to add the overlapping allowance. Because the collar will overlap on the neckline, I will be adding extra 2 inches. I'm extending this outward like so, and I will take my measurement of 2.5 inches from this point. Okay, the pattern is ready, so I can cut it out. So this is what I have, and this has to be cut in 2 pieces as well. So this is the collar, 2 pieces. One is going to be the under collar and the other one will be the top collar. So this is settled, and the next step is to draft the back yoke. In drafting the back yoke, I will be making use of the back panel, which I drafted in the previous video, and I will be placing the center of the back panel to align with the center of my fresh pattern paper. So this is the pattern paper I'm using. The attention has to be at the upper part alone. So I will be aligning the 2 edges like so, then secure them together with my tape. Okay, so after this step, I will be measuring the length of my yoke. So the measurement I'm using for the yoke length is 6.5 inches. So the standard measurement is 7 inches. Actually, I can use 7. I can decide to use lesser than 7. But I don't want it too long. I will be using 6.5 inches. Then I will add a seam allowance of half of an inch to make it 7 inches. Okay, so please take note of this. When you are taking the length measurement, it has to be taken from the HPS. HPS is the highest point shoulder. So this is the highest point shoulder. You can see the height of this point is different from the height of this point because we have already worked on the shoulder line. The shoulder slant has made the difference. So when you are taking the measurement, it has to be taken from the HPS, which is the highest point shoulder. And with the help of the straight lines I have on my ruler, I will be placing it in such a way the straight line align with the edge of my pattern paper, so which will help me to have a straight line, a perfect straight line. Okay, then I will take this straight down to the armhole point. So like so. Then I will take my tracing wheel and transfer this line on the new pattern paper. Okay, so after transferring the line, then I will add my seam allowance on the neckline, on the shoulder line, and on the armhole. So I'm adding half of an inch of seam allowance on the neckline, the shoulder line, and armhole. Now I'm done adding my seam allowances. As you can see, I have half of an inch on the neckline, half of an inch on the shoulder line, and half of an inch on the armhole. Then for the length of the yoke, I've added half of an inch to the length. The length was actually 6.5 inches and I added half of an inch to make it 7 inches. So that was why I have 7 inches. So at this point, I can remove my back panel pattern. And the yoke pattern is ready as well. And I'll go ahead and cut it out. So I'm drawing out the line I transferred on the new pattern paper. So this is the line I transferred from the back panel. So that is the point I will be cutting out my yoke. Okay, so this is my pattern. It is ready and I will label it appropriately. So this is the back yoke. So this is the center. This is the shoulder. And this is the lower part. The next step is to draft the sleeve part of the sutana. On a brother sutana or any male sutana, you can attach two different types of sleeve. The first one is a basic sleeve. You can make it a basic sleeve or shirt sleeve. So your sleeve can either be a basic sleeve or a shirt sleeve. So either of the sleeves you are making use of, either basic or shirt sleeve, I have a provision for that. I have a well-detailed tutorial on how to draft a basic sleeve pattern, and also another separate video on how to draft a shirt sleeve with pleats and curve. So if you want to attach a shirt sleeve to your sutana, kindly check out my video on how to draft a shirt sleeve. The drafting, the cutting and the sewing, it is a full tutorial. So the link to the video has been linked up in the description box. Also, if you want to attach a basic sleeve, I have a well-detailed tutorial as well on how to draft a basic sleeve pattern, the measurements required, the length measurement and every other thing. So when you are making use of a basic sleeve, the only difference is the opening, that is the wideness of the hemline of the sleeve. So the opening of the sleeve will be 12 inches wide. 12 inches wide all around. That is the circumference of the wrist measurement. The measurement is taken from the shoulder to the wrist. So which is half of it. When you are drafting, you know, you are drafting one part of the sleeve. So when your pattern is on fold, you will insert 6 inches. Then you had your seam allowance. Then for the hemming allowance, the hemming is usually wide on male sleeve on brother sutana. So when you are turning in the sleeve, you have to add up to 4 inches. So 4 inches. Actually, what you need is 3.5 inches. So plus half of an inch, which you'll be using in finishing the edges of the fabrics. That is why you have to measure up to 4 inches. So which means after your sleeve length, for example, I'm making use of sleeve length of 21 inches. So I will be adding extra 4 inches. 21 plus 4, so that is 25 inches. So this is just an example. So that is all on how to draft the sleeve pattern of a brother sutana. Now I will be cutting out all my patterns on the fabric. As you can see, I've pinned my back panel and I will be adding my seam allowances. On the neckline, I will be adding half of an inch of seam allowance. On the shoulder line, half of an inch of seam allowance. On the armhole, half of an inch of seam allowance. Then by the side from the chest level to the hemline, I will be adding 1 inch of seam allowance. So after which I will cut out all my patterns. So far so good. We've been able to cover the drafting of the yoke, the collar, the side extension and the sleeve in today's video. Meet me in the next video, which is going to be the last on this brother sutana series, where I will be putting you through the process of constructing all these pieces to make a brother sutana. Consider subscribing if you haven't, and also remember to subscribe to my second channel, Kids Wear with Reggie. Till we meet next time, when I will be dishing out another valuable content from my wealth of knowledge. Always do remember, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs.